Hi guys, happy Tuesday, Cancerians. I put out the Cancerian videos on Tuesdays and on, I just went blank. Saturday, sorry. I just lost my train of thought. Wow, Kate got drifty. I kept wanting to say Sunday, and I was like, it's not Sunday, it's not Sunday. Tuesdays and Saturdays. I'm sorry, last week I did put yours out on Sunday, and I think my brain was like processing, saying something was wrong, something was wrong. That's right, it was something was wrong last week. But no, Tuesdays and Saturdays for Cancerian on this channel. All the other zodiacs are on the other channel. And there's a lot to be excited about on the 17th today, because it's not just Tuesday Cancerian Day, but it's also the full moon. The full moon happens to be a super moon. The full super moon happens to be a harvest moon. And to top it off, it is also a partial lunar eclipse. So we got lots of awesome energy being amplified. Now, I just look at this as we're going to go for the message from the moon, the message from this full moon. And I kind of look at full moons as a time where things can be brought up to the surface, brought into the light, and then we can deal with them, release them, make decisions about them, see things more clearly that were previously really buried in the subconscious. That's how I view it. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just for my fictional storytelling. It's how I roll. So we have Page of Cups and we've got the Ace of Swords. This is one of two ways that I could read this. Either we have a Cancerian whose message during this full moon is, in truth, they may want to accept an apology from somebody who wants to finally come clean. Now, this could also be that the apology won't make a difference because Cancerian has actually already, kind of like made peace with this and cut this out of their life. This could also, though, be Cancerian might want to give an apology and speak a truth to someone, but this can be love as well. This could be a new love offer and a new explanation of love. This feels sweet. There's a shyness to her body language here. Indigo Moon X, great to see you. Happy full harvest moon to you too, honey. I like the gentleness on that card. She looks like a little bit of a wild child, stay wild moon child kind of vibe. Somebody might have, I have several feathers. I always forget to actually clip them in, but I love feathers in the hair. I always think it looks so pretty. I have feather earrings too that I don't wear nearly enough. All right. New Year's resolution for the middle of September. Tomorrow I'll wear feathers. We've got a 7 of Wands and we got the 5 of Pentacles. For this storyline, to be starting out with something sweet, something soft, something true, and then we see kind of like the conflict, right? Someone has either pushed Cancer away or Cancerian pushed them away, and there is an apology coming through on this. I still just don't know who did it to whom. Because of the Page of Cups, that's definitely our Cancerian energy. But she's so shyly, kind of like, it almost feels like she's the one receiving this apology. Like this masculine may be coming up or wants to come toward Cancerian and say, I'm sorry. I know I kind of pushed away this communication, pushed away this connection. I'm sorry that I did that. I'm sorry I was so ice cold. I'm sorry that I didn't want to talk to you. This could be somebody who like dodged her phone call. If this is being stirred up inside of him, because again, this is more what's coming to the surface. But that ace is action and communication. So it almost feels like, the energy of the full moon lasts about 3 days, particularly this one, right around till about Thursday, and it rises every night at the exact same time. So I'm wondering if somewhere in this full moon time frame for our character, that's where this person would be getting the gumption to say, hey, Cancerian, I'm sorry. I know I wasn't the best. I didn't communicate very much with you, or maybe I even seemed disinterested. If this is somebody that Cancerian like had one date with or something, they could have been a pretty cold fish. They could have been that, or they canceled, or they ended the date quickly or something. They were overwhelmed by Cancerian, not in a bad way, but in a good way. This is somebody who looked at Cancerian and was like, you have all of your act together. I'm over here in nothing but board shorts and I ain't even got a shirt on and no boots. And you are elegantly dressed and you're well put together. This feels like a pretty specific message for either a precise experience that they had with her, where she just seemed so he, it doesn't matter. It's just Cancerian is coming up as a feminine in this story so far. Um, but she came across as so well put together. I mean, maybe Cancerian's like, yeah, I own a house on the lake, or I rent a place. I've been there for 7 years. And they're like, wow, okay, so she obviously can hold down a job and pay her rent. And, if I'm not able to do that, if I'm kind of out there on my own and I haven't really found some place to call home, and if I'm between jobs right now, like, what am I doing on a date with this person who's so stable? I mean, our fortunes in life can come and go, and there are times in life where everything feels unstable, and there are times in life where we feel very stable. Sometimes building stability is not always entirely up to us, because there can be unexpected changes and challenges that pop up in life. But where they were at versus where Cancerian were at, two vastly different emotional spaces, but I would say monetary spaces, two different monetary spaces. This is a soulmate energy, though, but they may have felt and maybe still continue to feel like the kid, like the young soul, and like Cancerian is the old soul who just seems to know how to do life. Like they've been here on this earth before and they keep getting it right. Somehow they just know how to follow their instincts. Somehow they just seem to be a good student of life, and they come across as wise. And Cancerian comes across as well put together and stable. And their life, it feels it feels like they were in shambles at some point in time. And if that is the need for the apology, they want to say, I'm sorry. The truth is, I was in shambles. And the truth is, I really liked you. I mean, this is a soulmate energy. This is a lot of admiration, but they may not have shown any of that. When we seem disinterested, it might actually be a cover for being really uncomfortable. When we suddenly want to get up and leave, it's not because we don't like somebody. It could be because we feel like absolute, like we're crap. We feel like we're drowning because we're not where the other person is at. It's like, I so don't belong here. I need to just leave. I feel like an imposter sitting here across from this amazing, accomplished person. And to me, the reason I'm saying it all this way is because those are the cards we got, but that's also, even here, they still seem to put themselves in a position of like, I'm just not as knowledgeable as you are, Cancerian. I just don't have a handle on life the way you do. I feel like I would be a kid who's got to learn from you. Now, the thing is, if this character, well, we have the Empress, in a non-creepy way, they may be saying, Cancerian has strong mothering energy and they didn't want to be somebody's kid. Not saying Cancerian would have looked at them like that, because frankly, they're seeing Cancerian as this very like mature, powerful person. Cancerian comes out as like this kind of like little like a little sea nymph, or a little sprite, a little garden fairy, a little free spirit. So I kind of almost think that maybe they haven't quite pegged Cancerian so perfectly. Cancerian doesn't come across as like, well, I'm wise, I've been here 7 times before. They're not preachy, they're not trying to help somebody, they're not turning somebody into their project. Cancerian's just kind of, I think they might be more guided by their intuitions and their emotions, and they follow that. Maybe they have a little bit more self-trust. Maybe that does make them an older soul, but it's just so funny because this person has, I think, placed them on this pedestal and then given them this like, like if you bump into like your hero, somebody that you would be like all giddy to meet. For me, it would probably be Patrick Stewart, Starship Enterprise. I would be all giddy to meet him, because that was like my first crush. um, but that kind of vibe, that could be something that's how they felt about Cancerian, which really kind of sucks, because on one hand, they're giving all of these accolades, but on the other hand, they're also putting themselves at this huge disadvantage and then making it more stressful for themselves, and consequently kind of like being rude toward Cancerian, rude enough that they feel like they need to apologize. Okay, but we do have the Emperor. They might be saying point blank, I want it to be this. I want to be an Emperor to an Empress matchup, a soulmate energy, but I still feel like I haven't got the cabin by the lake the way you do. I don't know, somebody, a Cancerian could live, in some quaint place, or really just have found the location that feels so good to them. Maybe they have a little cabin, or maybe they rent a cabin, but there's something here where they're saying, I haven't found my cabin in the woods yet. I haven't gotten there, but I want to, Cancerian. I want to. That right there says that they are, first off, I think it takes a huge amount of courage to come in and say, I'm sorry, I was kind of a hot mess at one point. It also takes a lot of courage to be upfront and honest with, like their vulnerabilities, and then to say, here's what I would like. Here's what I would like to do. Now, the only thing is, could they be saying, what I realize is that I'm not, ready to be an emperor to an empress situation. Ugh. Well, we do have the Chariot, and that is Cancerian, and that is in the reverse. They might be saying, I'm sorry, I don't want to hold you back, Cancerian. You should be with an emperor. The only thing here is that's not really their place to make these declarations of this is what Cancerian needs to have. That's a bit, that's some assumptions, right? Cancerian can decide what Cancerian wants. They don't get to say, you won't want to move forward with me because you need to be with an Emperor Empress connection, and I'm just this soulmate who's light years behind you, and I would be more like somebody you'd have to train how to do life. You wouldn't want to do that. Only Cancerian will decide what Cancerian wants to do. Let me just see. Give me one more on this. This is kind of we got the Ten of Cups sideways. It is one of those messages. The full moon message is what's coming to the surface, and maybe this is just Cancerian reflecting back on a situation that already occurred, and they're like, I haven't been able to figure out really what were they apologizing for, why were they saying you're too good for me, and we're maybe seeing it. Maybe Cancerian is like understanding it from a different perspective. In this story, Cancerian might be saying, if that's how they felt, maybe they aren't my Ten of Cups person. If they didn't want to just say, man, you're so awesome, I want to be with you, if we could build a lot together, if they're still insisting somehow that they're at a huge disadvantage, and they don't want to pursue this, then Cancerian can't, drag them into confidence, right? We can't make somebody join us in an energy of confidence. They have to work on their own confidence. So this could just be a reflection, Cancerian thinking about something that already happened, thinking about why a relationship didn't move forward with a certain person, why this person, they could be recounting somebody's words. The thing that is here very, very powerfully and very obvious is that this character thinks the world of Cancerian, but they think of themselves as still very childlike. And I gotta say, this kind of looks like Cancerian is saying, I understand why they weren't my Ten of Cups. I understand why it couldn't be them, at least not at that point in time. People can grow, people can gain confidence, but maybe they weren't wrong. They didn't want to move forward with me because they said, you're light years ahead of me. You're not going to want to be with me. We got a Ten of Pentacles upright. I honestly think that this whole story already played out. Cancerian is reflecting on it, and they are putting the final comprehension. It's really sinking in for Cancerian in the happiest of ways. I almost think that this is them saying, I'm going to call up that soulmate, because you know what? We'll be friends for the rest of our lives. They were spot on. They weren't ready to be in a relationship, but I know they really cared about me. I care about them too. But the truth is, my life is really abundant right now. Maybe it wouldn't have been if the two of us had been trying it. Maybe they were spot on all along. Maybe our role to each other is friendship. And, there's somebody that I almost consider like a family member instead of a romantic interest. Sometimes, and you hear of people that have been married together and then break up, but they stay really good friends their entire life. Or people that have dated and they're like, oh no, we sucked as a couple, but we really like each other and will always be there for each other. We're genuine friends. They can be friends with each other's next partners, the whole nine yards, because there's just not the romance there. You're not my 10 of cups after all, but you are definitely part of my 10 of pentacles. You belong in my soul group. You belong in my world. You really care about me, and I really care about you. But they might have been spot on, and Cancerian might be reflecting on that and saying, they're not wrong. I do want the Emperor Empress relationship, and it wasn't going to happen with them. And it's even nice that they didn't try to trick Cancerian, persuade Cancerian, give me more of your time, settle for less. I'm not going to change. Just take me as I am, even though I know darn well that we're not really compatible. I don't think they tried that. I think this is one of those really rare stories that we get where two people can actually stay in each other's lives for all the right reasons, even though they realize love is not, the love is there, just not the romantic love after all. They wouldn't have made it, at least not for this fictional story. These are two people that are supposed to be part of their 10 of pentacles, but not their 10 of cups. You know what? That is an amazing ability to reflect on a situation and see the truth of something and see the benefit of it. See, to keep somebody in our life under different circumstances, um, that changes the dynamics. And now these two don't have to let each other go. They don't have to be sad. They don't miss out on anything. They are still soulmates. They can be in each other's worlds, but they also are not trying to force one another into a role that they cannot fulfill for one another. That is actually amazing and so freaking mature and so rare to see those stories. Anyway, I'm going to leave that one there. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hi, Diana. I'm so glad to see you again tonight. Ethel Rose is in the house. Hi, sweetheart. Great to see you. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it, Ethel Rose. Hi, Bria M. Good evening, my dear. Penny, thank you so much. I love those bouquets. Hi, Anna. How are you guys tonight? As you can hear, my baby is flipping his ears around. He's telling me that he's awake. He could really use some more pets. So I'm going to go ahead and go attend to the boy. But thank you guys so much for being here. It's nice to see everyone. All right, take care. Bye.